Welcome, folks, to day 72. The lesson is 7.9, reducing interest costs. This is the last sort of real lesson for chapter 7. Tomorrow we're going to have kind of a catch-up day, and if you're ahead, you can spend some time working with the spreadsheets and earning yourself some bonus marks, or working on review, and that's tomorrow. But today, most of the lesson is actually in a group activity that I'll describe later on, but we're going to get started by going through the 3-minute review. And the 3-minute review is a review of last day's stuff, and it'll give us a little feeling about what we're doing today as well. So last day we were solving problems involving mortgages. FERD agrees to a $100,000 mortgage over 25 years at 5%. What are FERD's monthly payments? Well, remember, for mortgages, we can't use our formula because there's a problem between the frequency that interest is compounded and the frequency of the payments. So these are monthly payments. We have to go to the calculator, right? So I'm going to go find my calculator here. Find my calculator. Where is it? Fire that up. And it says here, apps, finance, one for TVM solver. N is 25 years, and there are 12 payments a year. The interest rate was 5%. The present value is $100,000. So I doubt that FERD could find a house for $100,000. That's pretty cheap, but it could be that he had a big down payment and that's all that's left, or whatever. Anyway, the present value of the mortgage is $100,000, and at the end, the future value is going to be zero. Remember, what makes this a mortgage is that the payments, although they always matched up with annuities in the previous question, with mortgages, the biggest that this compounding periods per year can be is 2, and that messes us up. We can't use the formula, but we're used to this now. We want to find the monthly payment. So then remember, I just solve for the monthly payments. Alpha solve. There they are. I'm going to screenshot this baby. So you should copy it too. And paste that in there. And again, on a test, when we're using a graphing calculator to solve this stuff, we do want you to write this stuff in there, okay? And then a conclusion. Therefore, his payments are $581.60 per month. How much interest did FERD pay? Again, remember, interest is his total out-of-pocket, which is his payments, subtract how much he borrowed, right? Plus how much the mortgage was for, which was $100,000. Well, how much came out of his pocket? Well, we had 300 payments of $581.60. That can go into the graphing calculator, scientific calculator, and you get $74,480. That's how much interest he paid over the life of the loan, the 25-year mortgage. Part 2, FERDette. That's FERD's sister, smarter, sort of more with it than FERD. Tells FERD that if he makes weekly payments, he will pay less interest. So what FERDette is suggesting is that instead of paying monthly payments, pay weekly payments. That's a way to save interest. What would FERD's weekly payments be? Well, what's going to change in this? Well, he's not going to have 300 payments anymore, because 52 payments a year, 52 weeks in a year, times 25 years is a lot more payments. Interest rate stays the same. And notice the payments per year then have to be 52 as well. And the calculator wants to switch it back, but the compounding periods is still just semi-annually. Since it's a mortgage, as soon as I see the word mortgage, I know that that value is 2. And then I want to solve for the weekly payments, and it's $134 a week. I'm going to paste that in there. And again, you should copy. Both of these values seem very reasonable as far as a mortgage, right? Could you afford $600 a month for a mortgage? Well, maybe not this minute, but you can see once you start working steadily that you probably could. Or even more manageable might be a weekly mortgage, right? $134 a week. If you're getting paid every week and you got a solid job, that's probably doable. How much interest would he pay? Well, again, a little bit different. We've got his payments. There were 1,300 payments over the life of the mortgage of $134 each, minus his original $100,000 mortgage. I do that calculation. That times that, subtract 100,000, 74,200. So was Fredette correct? Well, notice for monthly payments, his interest was 74,420, and this is a little bit less. So yes, Ferd would pay $280 less, and that's just if he chose to make weekly payments instead of monthly payments. Not much, when we're talking about $74,000, $200 in savings isn't that much, but maybe that's worth it. So she was correct, but not a lot of savings. What we're up to today, folks, is we're going to be partnered off or grouped off, and we're going to be investigating ways to reduce interest. So we just found there that maybe by making more frequent payments that we could save some money, some money on interest. And essentially the investigation from the textbook is 4 different ways of saving money on interest, or 4 different changes that you can make to a mortgage and then see if it's less interest or more interest. So here's the expectations. Investigate the effects of changing characteristics of a mortgage on the total interest paid. We did do a little of this work when we're talking about annuities, but we're having another go at it with mortgages. You'll complete this lesson in class in a group activity. You'll be given a home group, then assign one of the investigations over leaf. There are 4 of them, and so you'll be responsible for one of them. After you complete your section, you will report back to your home group. And we've done this sort of thing before, but I will put you in your groups. And notice, I want to talk about the 4th one, which is a little bit different. For the most part, all you have to do is read carefully. Whoever's doing the 4th investigation, it's a little more difficult. I just want to make sure that you've got it straight. So this idea of accelerated payments, accelerated weekly and accelerated bi-weekly payments. Notice with this option, the weekly payment is 1/4 of the monthly payment. So accelerated weekly, this one right here, accelerated weekly, this payment is 1/4 of that, okay? And this says monthly payment, although that doesn't make any sense because some of them are, there's weekly in here and bi-weekly and that sort of business. But you'll fill in this table. Also, it says the bi-weekly payment is half of the monthly payment. So this accelerated bi-weekly is half of monthly, and whoever's in group 4 will have to figure this out. It does walk you through it. As long as you read carefully, it does walk you through it. Notice that this table here that's in your textbook that it asked you to copy, well, that's that table expanded a little bit so you can compare weekly and accelerated weekly and biweekly and accelerated biweekly. So I would ask whoever's in group 4, you read very, very carefully so you can report back to your classmates about how this one works. It's the most frequent way to save money, by the way. So I'm not spoiling that too much, but and it's quite surprising about how much money you can save with accelerated weekly and accelerated biweekly. Remember to check your answers in the back, and then after you're done the investigation, this part should take probably about half an hour, I'd say. Then the homework, which you do on your own, is there, and it shouldn't take too long. And there's an FAQ. The FAQ, the homework questions, is sort of like give somebody some advice. You know, such and such just bought a house. How could you save them some money on their mortgage? Give them a suggestion and prove using a calculation that you're right. That's the whole goal of the whole homework. And that's it. That's it for this well, the whole unit. This is it for the whole lessons. We've got tomorrow is optional catch-up day where you can do some spreadsheet work, then review, then test. Have fun with the homework and the investigation.